We're here back with the LS9s again. This is a LS9 that's all polished and the block's been smoothed and painted for easier maintenance in a car you're going to drive. Notice though it's got the factory alternator on it, and then it's got the factory compressor on it. We do have a cover made for the factory compressor now, and another couple covers we've got made. Here's a cover that's going to bolt on and cover this pulley. We got the one for this pulley, and they just got them out of chrome. We do have the front cover for the factory compressor, because we got one guy doing a 2002 or 2010 Camaro, and I'm machining the cover for this today. So the only cover I'm going to really lack is was the prototype water pump pulley. The others all bolt on. This one we'll drill 4 holes and tap them, and it'll bolt on. It's a cover where you still run this factory steel pulley, but it's really going to be pretty when we get done with it. You can see the blower's completely all polished, and then the coils we painted them black, the color of the block. So the next cover I'm probably going to have to work on is the one for the blower idler pump and the power steering pump. But this sure is a pretty motor. Wait till this gets into the car it's going in. It's really going to be pretty. Okay, one of the big questions is always the oil cooler lines. On the LS9, we make a special engine plate because this fitting right here comes out. There's a fitting that screws in here. Then there's a hose that loops and goes to the end of the oil cooler. Then it comes out of the oil cooler with quick disconnect and goes back to the tank of the radiator. When we do the aftermarket pan that we manufacture for putting in Chevelles and Camaros and stuff like that, we have to do it differently because the oil cooler is not used. And so what we have to do is do an oil cooler and loop it through an oil cooler and then back into the pan. There's the pan that they're working on. I didn't have one that's finished, but this is our pan that he's building. Cobry builds them, our youngest son, and you can see how it's put together. It's got a block here. The suction here will go here with a pickup tube, and then it goes back into the pan. Then it'll have the push that goes into the tank, then it sucks back into the tank and back into the motor. So it's quite a complicated pan to make, but we build this pan all from scratch. And then it has the 2 lines here that have come out. We're redesigning a block here with the fittings, and you'll be able to tap on with oil pressure here. But I thought I'd let you see a prototype pan, and this fits in your Chevelles, your Camaros, and 55, 57s and stuff when you're using a stock frame. Then you'll have the AN12 fittings here that goes to your oil tank. This is the tank that we've been manufacturing that lets us go for the intercooler for the LS9 blowers as your reserve. It has a radiator cap on it, and it has a drain, and of course the fittings in and out for the intercooler because it runs a tank with the intercooler. And as we go down here, here's another LS9 that's going together. This is our LS9 smooth first cover that we've got made. You can see that snaps on the LS9s, and this is going to be to where we'll cut it out if you want the top of the blower to show. But if you don't want the top of the blower to show, then this is smooth to where you can do whatever you want to do as far as fix and looks. Talking about something nice, this is our first LSA we've got in. This is the 550 horse Cadillac motor. We haven't been able to dyno this one yet, but we will. We've already got the harness built for it. Notice that Chevrolet and the crate motors, they take the Cadillac emblem off and they make this little plate. Of course, we're in the process of making a real nice plate there where we can put a name or anything. It has a 2-piece cover on this, has the back cover, of course, and then it has the front cover we'll show you in a little bit. But here's where you check your fuel pressure, and then at the back right here you can see the fuel line coming out. The harness still will plug into these main plugs on each side and feed the bank. And then this is on the back of the Cadillac for the intercooler. You got your feed line, your return line, your oil pressure. So a lot of it's the same as the LS9, except this is a wet sump motor, and so you don't have to do a remote tank and everything with it. We're waiting on the one tensioner pulley for the blower belt, but this is how the blower belt wraps. And then of course we got our power steering here and an alternator there, but we're already designing brackets for this because with this alternator low like this, a lot of cars with front rack and pinion steering, the steering shaft's going to come right through there, and it'll be a problem with it. But these are really some nice headers. Manifolds too. They're a big manifold, and so they might even work in some cars that want to run their stock manifold. Then here's your air temp sensor. Here's your map sensor. It reads boost, and here's your vacuum map sensor here. This has 2 maps on it, where the LS9 has 3 maps on it. Now here's your steam line for the driver's side head, and this has a steam line over on the passenger side head. So it has 2 separate ones we have to tie together. This is a vacuum port right behind the throttle body here. It's got the top outlet still on the driver's side, but it really makes a pretty motor when it gets done. This one happens to be going in a 58 Cadillac, so it's going to really look good in there when we get everything done for it. Of course, you know that people will be building a new emblem here to go in place of this, or we can do it for you if you want to put something in there. But this is going to be a real neat motor, and with the throttle body angling out, some cars that are really tight, we can get a real sharp elbow in here. So cars that don't have a lot of hood room, but I would think most of the people putting in LSAs in are going to put them in Cadillacs, Packards, big cars. You can see here the return line for the power steering. There's just a short hose that goes here on the pressure or the return side, and then it takes a 16 millimeter pressure fitting, just like all the other pumps. So you can see this LSA is really going. We already got the new water necks done for all the LS9s. Actually, the water necks were made from 97 to 03, and then 04 to 08 's a different water neck, and then on 09 and later, with the top outlet on the driver's side, it'll have a different water neck again, which we've already got them in 360, 45s, and 15s. And then notice the oil pan. It's got a totally different oil pan. We haven't tried setting this in other vehicles yet to see, but it might fit in some cars because it really drops back and it's got a rear sump. So that might be a good oil pan for other applications. It's just something we're going to have to try. Notice that this one don't have the oil cooler on it like the LS9 does. It's got basically, and this is an idea for some people, on the bypass here, this has got a, looks like a grease insert on it. I hadn't looked it up yet, but that's probably for an oil prime, for priming the motor before starting it. So this is still going to be a big motor and give us big horsepower. Still has the coolant temp sensor for the computer on the driver's side head, and we have on the passenger side head, we'll have the plug where we do the adapters where you can add your coolant temperatures for your gauge. So we'll be giving you some more of this as we get it done. We'll be building different brackets and stuff for the LSA real soon.